It's your weekly breakaway for fun conversations on pro cycling and so much more. Join us as we go beyond the slipstream. I'm Matt Harper, and together with my brother Justin, we'll do deep-ish dives on bike races, movies, bands, and all manner of shiny pop cultural objects. Oh, and did I mention bike races? We're kind of obsessed. Allez!
Hello and welcome to Beyond the Slipstream. I'm Justin and this is my brother Matt. And today, in our first segment, we're breaking down all the stage racing action from the Women's Pro Peloton's first Grand Tour of the year, the Vuelta Espana Femenina, which concluded yesterday on the Alta de Catalunya. Grand Tour racing has begun this season for the men as well at the Giro d'Italia. We'll review stages 1 and 2 in our second segment. In honor of Mother's Day, segment 3 will be devoted to a lively discussion of our top 5 movies about moms. And as always, we'll finish out with more adventures in the Broom Wagon. Allez. Please note, this segment will contain spoilers. If you have not watched the finish of the race and wish to remain unspoiled, please jump ahead to segment 2. The 2025 Vuelta Femenina, the first Grand Tour of the year for the Women's Pro Peloton, proceeded in fine fashion with great racing action across some stunning Spanish landscapes. And while the ultimate GC winner turned out to be the top favorite, FDJ Suez's Demi Vollering, that didn't mean that she did not face some competition, especially in the form of a couple of former teammates. One of those former teammates is now a big rival, and not just because of her abilities on the road. Last year, Anna van der Breggen was Demi's coach and DS on the juggernaut SD Works squad, but after the debacle on stage 5 of the Tour de France, one has to assume that there is no love lost between the two. With Demi now riding for a different team and AVB out of retirement and riding for the team she coached last year, the real excitement turned out to be the battle for second between AVB and another former SD Works rider, Marlon Reusser. Matt, did Marlon have what it took to get that 1 second back from van der Breggen on the final climb?
She sure did. It was interesting, I think, just kind of trying to gauge what's going on with Anna van der Breggen in this race. To me, that was probably the most interesting storyline of the thing, because as we saw, and we'll get into on stage 3, I believe it was, she finally got her first actual win in her comeback. She's been there or thereabouts a lot over the spring campaign. She's also done some pretty clutch work to help the team. I think she is not, if anybody thought that she was rolling onto this team strictly to just be a GC leader and everybody is going to serve her, that is certainly not the case. She's very much locked into the team approach, which is good. And I think is to be expected given a rider of her class. And as we saw with her post-race interview on stage 3, her mind, because boy, that woman sounds like a DS when she talks now. So we saw a lot of strength on that stage, a really good move, and then she was able to use her TT abilities to just, that gap never moved the entire time she was out in front on that stage.
It was a great move on that stage. We'll get to it.
Right. So you see that, and then you see on the final, on the stage where Demi got her first win. Was that 5? She just rode away from van der Breggen. I mean, AVB looked over at her and just kept tapping out her pace, and Demi just was gone. So that suggests that she's just not there. And Demi won this thing handily. She won the last stage, and so she looks to be the far better climber than Anna van der Breggen. The question is van der Breggen just slowly building towards the Tour de France? It remains a tantalizing possibility. Perhaps she's just big picturing this whole thing, and challenging Demi in the Giro, in the Vuelta, was never a part of the plan. What do you think?
I mean, it's either that or she's a cut below Demi Vollering. And I think that in the case of these harder, you know, climbs, the Demi just is a cut above the rest of them. I mean, she's like Pog in the sense that she's not moving. It's not like she's like having to struggle to pull away from these riders. I mean, she is handily riding away on the hardest climbs. And, she's not putting in major amounts of time. She's putting in just enough time to just put it away. And I just, when I look at Anna von der Breggen, it's like you're right. You see these flashes where you're like, oh yeah. And in the stage where she won, she gets out in front and you're right. She just never gives up that lead. But, you know, did she not give up the lead because Demi knows that like it doesn't matter? She can get a little bit of time here, and I know that I'm going to be able to put it away down the on these harder stages. I don't know. It's like I keep looking at her going, yeah, okay, she's right there. She's right there. But then, it's where it counts. She's not coming up big.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think there's no question in Demi's mind now that she is the better climber. Just better equipped and has more power. And end of story. That's what it looks like. At the same time, I remain firm in my belief that Anna von der Breggen came back with one purpose and one purpose only: to win a Tour de France, to get that onto her palmarès. I mean, I think she's enjoying racing. She's always in the mix, and she loves it, obviously. So there's that. But I think in terms of like the goals that she has for herself, I mean, to me, that seems to be like the big thing that is missing, and a great reason to come back, especially given the fact that she didn't get a shot at it. She retired, and the very next year they started running the Tour de France again. So yeah, but it's also interesting, when you said that Dami wasn't really like putting in massive amounts of time on everybody. I mean, she ends up winning by 45 seconds. Well, no, I guess she ended up winning by a bit more since she won on the last stage. But um, this isn't. It's a big statement for her, I think, because as we both know, she kind of had a not so great spring. She started off super strong. She wins Strade Bianchi, and then cannot get another win the entire time. Gets blanked in the Ardennes. After 2 years ago, she swept the Ardennes, and now she's getting blanked. And yet, boom, first Grand Tour, she's all over it. Like nobody was beating her in this race. So I mean, it certainly bodes well for her moving into this part of the season.
It does. It does. I don't know, man. Like she just, she just seems so damn strong. Like it just didn't. She never seemed at any point where I was like, oh, she's really struggling. She just didn't struggle at all.
Yeah, and I don't know who can challenge her in the tour this year. There's
Well,
no
I mean,
names that come to mind.
like Cassia was a non-factor in this race.
Yeah,
You know,
she
she,
was nowheresville.
yeah. So, I don't know. The tour is a different animal. I mean, you know that these riders are, they look at the tour with a completely different lens. So I don't know. It's interesting.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
so let's break
The,
it down a
the
little
women.
bit. So let's talk about stage one. I felt
Hold on.
team time trial. Just I don't know. I couldn't get into it.
I did not watch it like live or anything. Like I had already read a lot about it because I somehow spoiled myself on it, and then I read a bunch about it before I ever got to watch it, and it was yet another debacle with the race organization. Um, Apparently, they just blew the timing with the bike check. So they check they check all the bikes for mechanical doping, essentially, as a matter of routine in just about every bike race there is, at the professional level. And I guess they're supposed to check all the bikes like a full hour before the TTT, and instead they were doing it 15 minutes before, and like it was taking too long. And
Yeah,
then the
it
Movistar team
sounded like they got
showed up late.
behind, that they were fine in the beginning, and as they got more towards the middle of the race, they were just behind the pace of how fast they were sending these teams off, and they get to certain teams and there's
They
riders
didn't push
literally
the schedule back.
struggling to make the block.
Yeah, they didn't push the schedule back. It's like, okay, well, if you get behind, like you don't just like keep the, because I think the start times were sort of like tied to actual like times of day, like clock
Mhm.
times. It's like, the Movistar team starts at, 1:45, on the, 1:48 or whatever it is. And I think that when they started getting behind, they didn't adjust that, they didn't push that back. It's like, well, you got to get there. And it's just bad management, and then Pauline Ferrand-Prévot was pissed off at the end, like she was talking
Well, it
some serious
affected their
shit
team.
because, like,
Two of their riders
yeah,
like barely made it on, and one of their riders like couldn't get attached to the group. Like
well, it was
she was
Imogen Wolf.
off
She
the.
came out. She came out of the car start area. Like you see her. There was a one shot. You only saw it for a second, before they cut. But she came out of where the cars come out in the beginning, and yeah, couldn't get attached to the thing the whole time. So, not only is that just annoying for the result, but also, um, poor Wolf is out there just absolutely killing herself for this entire TTT, and it burned a whole lot more energy than she needed to. As we'll see, it didn't necessarily affect her
Yeah,
in
that's
this
true.
race because she came up strong on stage 6.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, no surprise seeing Lidl Trek win that stage. They definitely had the
yeah.
team with the most hitters, and
I did
Ellen
like
Van
that they
Van Dyke deserved that red.
let like Dylan Van Dyke uh, take the take the inaugural jersey for Mother's Day in Spain. That was cool.
Yeah, Spanish Mother's Day. Today's our is American Mother's Day, and yeah, she won on Spanish Mother's Day, and she's a mom, so she's one of
Yeah,
those insane women like Lizzie Deignan that like went off and had a baby and then returned to the top levels of professional cycling.
ridiculous.
Crazy.
Uh,
You want to move on?
Stage 2, Boss Foss, baby.
Boss, boss, boss. She's so good. She's
Yeah,
so good. I mean, she just nothing about her reads like old lady of the Peloton. I mean, she's only 35,
yeah.
She's not old lady 40, but she's just been around so long and been winning for so long. She's so good.
And
She's so good.
she's
And
so stoic, like in her post race, just the way that she is. She's an utterly gracious rider that is very thankful to
yeah,
everybody else. Like despite the
absolutely.
fact that she just wins, at an extremely high pace, she's still very very humble, and she's honest to God, she is one of the brightest spots on that squad right now. Period.
Oh yeah. Well, and but also as stage 2 demonstrated, they got some other ones in the form of Imogen Wolf and Pauline Ferrand-Prévot. I mean, the lead out that they gave her because it was really wet going into that finish
Yes, and
and
there
kind
was
of dicey,
chaos.
so it wasn't like super high speed. But the two of them were just kind of they were just working the whole thing. They just kept it. They kept the front and they kept it right there. And then going into that final turn, Voss actually very wisely, as she always is, she's always like just makes the smartest move. She just like scoots herself in front so she's able to go through that turn all by herself with no one on either side of her in that last turn. And they come out of that turn, nobody's gone all that fast, but she's already 2 bike lengths ahead of everybody. And it's just like, okay, goodbye. You're not catching me. Marianne Voss with two bike lengths,
Not with 2 bike
straight
lengths, and
line.
she's already in a better position than everybody else at that point.
Yeah, yeah, like perfect execution.
You
So
know,
good. Um,
the only person that could catch her in a situation like that's probably Lorena Wiebes, and
yeah,
that's just sheer power numbers, just sheer power.
yeah, yeah. So more sprinting on stage 3. Famke Haretza from SD Works,
Yeah, I don't really
taking one
know
from.
much about her.
Oh, she's been good this year. She got a
Yeah,
win earlier
she's
in
definitely
the
been in the
year,
mix.
um, and kind of cool just seeing SD Works. SD Works is like that UAE of the women's side where they've just got all these weapons. I mean, they're there with Von der Breggen, really contesting GC and being totally involved in that. And yet at the same time, Famke Heretze, she gets a stage win in a sprint finish. She was she was right there contending with Voss in just about every sprint. She just barely edged out Mariana Voss in
Yeah.
in this sprint. And you know
One of one
her,
of one of two second places that Voss takes in this. I mean, so she had two wins and two second places, which is nuts
right,
over a 7-day
and the
race.
green jersey, and Heritza got the red jersey, and I believe kept it the second day, or maybe not. I know she crashed while she was wearing red, so maybe not. But one little just note thing that I noticed that I wanted to mention. I love how the women's teams are very sort of conscientious about like getting that whole team together there in the immediate aftermath of the stage and getting
Like,
that like group shot. They love getting that group shot there at the end. It seems like you always see the women doing that. All
dude, they
right,
did it.
so
Visma did it the other day with Marion Voss, and she was like, just like not. She was like not interested in the whole thing.
all right, let's move on because we're
I'm
getting
sure
tight
we are
here.
knocking against it. So, we kind of already talked about stage 4. That was the Anna von der Breggen breakaway stage. Again, she looked very good. And Voss took second that day. Stage 5, Demi went away with it. Let's see. Oh yeah, and this was the day. Okay, so I have a note here about stage 5. This was the day where once Demi went away, it was really really clear to me on this stage because she only ended up putting like maybe 40 seconds into her that day or something like that, or 30 some seconds. But the
Mhm.
way that she rode away from Anna von der Breggen, it looked like she could have put 2 minutes into her. Like, I mean, it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
it was so stark on that stage, like the difference in the two of them. And again, it could have been more, but it ended up being what it was. But I'm telling you, at first, when she first went away, I was like, oh my god, she's gonna put 2 minutes into her by the time she gets to the top of that climb.
I agree. I agree. I think she gauged where AVB was and was like, I'm not going to show my hand too much. Like
Hmm.
I'll give myself a comfortable buffer. That's kind of what you were referring to earlier. I did
Hmm.
want to talk. Let's just finish it up with this. But Voss took stage 6. Demi won the final mountain stage on stage 7. She took the win, et cetera, et cetera. But um, I'm sure you saw when she won stage 5. So I clocked when I was watching the pre-show stuff. I actually clocked a look on her face at the team presentation. She looked forlorn. She looked sad and forlorn as they were doing the team presentations. When she walked out, she looked like she might even be on the verge of tears. And this is the beginning of the race. She wins the race. As she's coming across the finish line, she taps her helmet like this, like my
Okay.
head, my head. Um, and then in her interview, she dedicates the win to all people struggling with mental health. And I'm just dying to know what happened. I just feel like something happened because even when she won the final stage and had won the race, she just had a faraway look on her face, and I just feel like something's going on with her. Even though she looks strong, she is capable of smiling. She was smiling on the podium, but like what's going it's a mystery to me.
Well, just a few weeks ago, we talked about it on the show about her comments about Wout Van Aert.
Yeah. Yeah.
She has been pretty vocal and introspective about the pressures of these the top being a top racer in pro cycling. You know what I mean? She has definitely,
Hmm.
made comments about, how hard it is to, to deal with the pressure and the fame and, the fact that, these guys, I mean, and look for her right now. I mean, she's in a position of complete and utter pressure because she's on a brand new team. She, she didn't have a great Ardennes, and who knows? Maybe it's a self-doubt thing. Maybe it's like, am I really as good as everybody says that I am? I'm sure, dude. Like, I can't imagine what that kind of pressure is.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think we could sit here and speculate in a lot of directions. At the end of the day, it just makes all of this much more tantalizing for us as viewers. So, yeah.
Well, on that note, we'll be right back. This segment will contain spoilers. If you have not watched the finish of the race and wish to remain unspoiled, please jump ahead to segment 3. As has happened several times in recent years, the 2025 Giro d'Italia started outside of Italy, this time just across the Adriatic Sea in neighboring Albania. The first 2 days gave us a very exciting sprint finish on day 1 and a somewhat exciting TT on day 2. The TT, however, did perhaps give us a look at what might be in store for us over the next 3 weeks with Primož Roglič, the out-and-out favorite for the overall win, just barely getting edged out of the stage win by Ineos Grenadiers' Joshua Tarling by a mere 1 second. Far more interestingly, however, was the performance of UAE Team Emirates' Jay Vine, who is clearly in the form of his life coming off of a big stage win in last week's Giro warm-up race, the Tour of Romandy. Vine helped secure an overall GC win for his teammate João Almeida, and he showed that his form is still tip-top as he slid into third in the Giro TT, only 1 second off of Primož's second-place time. Matt, UAE's Juan Ayuso was the clear second favorite in the race, but he could only manage 10th in the TT. Given his clearly incredible form at the moment, should we be looking at Jay Vine as perhaps the better choice for UAE Team Emirates GC aspirations in this race?
That is an excellent question because Jay Vine is slaying right now. Like, he just gets better and better. I don't know. I did not clock how many seconds down Ayuso's 10th place put him. Did you happen to catch that?
So they have 3 riders in the top 10, and I don't think any of them are more than like 39 seconds back.
Okay. Probably should have looked that up. But I wouldn't say he's out of it or anything like that. But Jay Vine, who knows? Maybe they pivot to a co-leader sort of strategy at some point. I don't know. I mean, it's far too early to tell, but it certainly makes for interesting speculation.
So,
given that
UAE has come out and said that Yates and Ayuso are the co-leaders. Ayuso has come out and said, "I am the leader," but that's a different topic. They're, clearly McNulty and Vine and the other guys are there to ride and support. But I mean, if he's the hot hand, how do you not go with him? He's a more than capable rider, in these types of situations. So. I don't know, man. That team this is one of those things. It's like the embarrassment of riches type of situation that this team always
must
has.
be nice.
Yeah,
must be nice.
They've got multiple options, to go with. But does it create chaos within the team? Does it make it unclear who they need to work for? Even with 2. Clear, like, okay, these are our GC guys. That's a lot of work for the domestiques. If one guy's taking a nature break, they got to keep a rider with him. The other guy's got to have a rider with him. There's a lot going on, and it's a lot to manage. I mean, I'm sure that they are more than capable of managing it, but, at some point you got to make a decision to say, this is who we're riding for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they they're in good shape. They, we'll see how well they are able to handle that challenge.
I mean,
Um,
I think they're in just fine shape. They have three riders in the top 10,
it's
and
good problems
I
to
think
have.
I think Yates is like just outside of that at like maybe 12 or 13.
So who's their third rider in the top 10? McNulty? Is it
Yes,
McNulty,
it's
Vine,
McNulty.
and Almeida? I mean
Yes.
McNulty, Vine, and Ayuso. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because McNulty got like fifth or sixth in the TT, I think.
Yeah. He
Um,
flies, dude. That guy is he is solid.
USA, USA. All right, so let's go back to state. We're just doing stages one and two, which is Friday and Saturday. So let's.
Ooh,
You
before
want
we
to
do
start with
that,
stage one?
can we just say one thing? Like the coverage for this race is so much better than basically anything else we've seen all year. Like
It's so
um
nice getting that Eurosport team. I guess they're calling
it's
it
just like
TNT right now, or what is it?
it's
TNT on
TNT.
Max? Or,
It's
yeah,
TNT,
TNT
but
on Max.
then it's obviously it's Max here in the U.S. You get the breakaway every day with
I
Orla,
love it.
Robbie, um, Adam Blythe, and the addition of Matt Stevens, which I freaking love.
Yeah, he's
That
great
dude
with his
is,
crazy with his crazy hair and like his awesome accent.
yeah, but he is just like, he has a great insight to the race, man. He's like
Oh yeah.
a very different commentator to the other. You know what I mean? Obviously, like Orla is the host, and Robbie and Adam are former racers, and like you have Matt who is so in the culture of pro cycling. Like
Hmm.
his insight is just really really awesome, and he's in the booth. So not only do you get all of that before, but you get Rob Hatch, Sean Kelly on the main call. All right.
Hmm.
And then they are spelled by Adam Blythe and Matt Stevens and Robbie McEwen.
And
And it's
Robbie,
just,
yeah, they're all commentate. It's so
yeah.
cool the way they're all there. They're all there for the breakaway, and then boom, they all get that little piece of the race to do their commentary on alongside Rob Hatch. And
Yeah.
I mean, the whole, it's just so nice,
Yeah.
to go from. It's just the disparity between some of these races that just get short shrift. Poor old Anthony McCrossan, you never even see the man's
Oh,
face. He
look,
just comes
we,
on and he's just all by himself, just
we
just
didn't
holding.
talk
I mean,
about the
that's what
women, the poor guy doing the women's Vuelta. By the way,
yeah,
one of
and
the
that
Grand
he
Tours, and
doesn't
you
even give
get,
his name.
I don't even know his name. I honestly don't even
Yeah,
know his name. One guy all week. Like, you can't get a second person to like,
yeah, it's a grand tour. I just don't get this. This is a
there's
big
two
mystery to
people
me.
in these one day races. Like, I don't even understand it at all.
Call me up. I'm there. I'll do it. I'll do a phoner. Like, I'm right here for you. Like, really, you can't find it. You don't have to pay me a dime. Like, how can we not find a, one other person to? It's just it's
I don't
infuriating.
understand it.
Be
I don't
honest, it's
understand it.
infuriating. Maybe it's possible that the commentator likes it. Like, hey, I'm the guy. I get to be the only one. But I can't imagine they do. Like, I just think
I
that's just like
personally think it makes for absolutely boring coverage. I really
I
do.
wouldn't say that.
Well,
It's
it's
not
not
it's
as
not
good as
100%
this. I mean, it's
boring, but
literally not as good as what's going on in the Giro
it's
right now.
well, it's not anywhere close to as good as
Yeah,
that. I
that's what I'm
mean
saying.
that
So,
they're just like two opposite ends. All
yeah,
we're asking for is can we just have two people for every race? Just at the very can the baseline be two people and not one person?
yeah.
Is that too much to ask? I don't think so. Let's talk
Um,
about the aesthetics of the coverage. First of all, you get the virtual studio, which is always so fun seeing how they use it. And I noticed a new little graphic thing that they've added this year, which is they gave they gave like a profile map, but it was of the entire race. Did you catch that?
I maybe not. I guess maybe I haven't noticed.
Yeah, they were sort of coming out of the beginning of the intro, and this graphic emerges, and it's like a profile like you would see for any of the stages, but it was the entire race, and like each stage was its own little block, and you could see like its little profile
I
inside
didn't
of there,
see
but
that
then
at
you could see
all.
the whole thing. Yeah, it's really cool.
I'll go back.
I was definitely liking that. And the other graphic that I really liked at one point, um, they were talking, speculating about who was going to win, et cetera, et cetera, and they showed like a mural. They kind of put up this like graphic mural behind the four commentators, uh, of five different recent Giro winners, all wearing the pink jersey, all holding the Infinity Trophy. It was like Quintana, Carapaz, Primoz, Egan Bernal, and Jai Hindley, and it was like just a really really cool graphic.
That
So
is cool.
I love all that kind of stuff, and just the
Well,
production values in
oh
general
yeah.
during the race
Well,
looks so much
and they
better.
have Max has like a second channel for each of these races, which is a multicam channel where you get four cameras. You get the main feed and then like three just raw camera feeds that they're intercutting to. So you get like two motos and an aerial plus the main feed, and
Oh, that
like
rules.
it's so cool. And you get the
I haven't
regular commentary,
seen
so
it
you
yet.
get the commentary over all of it. So you really get to like really get in depth on these races, which is probably what these guys that are commentating are seeing, are all of these different angles.
I'm gonna have to save that. I think for today's stage, because I haven't looked at one bit of it. I think I'm just gonna watch both stages tomorrow, and go ahead and put it on the big TV upstairs and on the multi thing. That sounds too good.
Yeah,
So yeah, all right. You want to jump into the
yeah.
the
Let's
two
let's
stages
let's
here
talk
and
about
wrap it
stage
up?
one real quick. Mads Pedersen wins it, but to me, the real story is like Wout almost beats him.
Wow, wow, Van second.
He wasn't Wout Van Fourth, that's for sure. Um, does it is it a bigger, like, Mads winning is to me is not the bigger story than Wout, who did not look good in the time trial the next day, in my
No.
opinion. But let me tell you, he is maybe a tire, two tires, away from winning that race.
Hmm.
Uh, it's right on the line. The sprint looked good. I honestly was like, I thought he was going to pull it off, dude. Like he was a little slow, like coming out of position. Like he was in a good spot, but I feel like he started to sprint a little too late. If he has another 50 meters, he might have edged him, there. But like, wow, wow for wow.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. No, it bodes well. It bodes well. We'll see. I mean, he's still hungry clearly, and in the mix. This race is well suited to his ability. So uh, hopefully we'll be seeing him get that win. God, I really would be glad to see him get the win. Because Mads Pedersen finally did get the win. I think he had a win or two earlier in the spring, but all the big races he was always like right there in second place, right there in
Yep.
third place. So pretty good consolation prize, a Giro
First
stage win and a Maglia Rosa.
first Dane to wear the pink jersey.
I saw that. I saw
Yeah,
that. All
I
right.
thought that
So
was I thought that was
stage
very
two,
interesting.
TT.
This kid is ridiculous. Josh Tarling takes the win, and I mean this kid's got an engine. I mean, look, this kid is a
Hmm.
time trialing machine,
Hmm.
because he's able to. This is not an easy time trial. It's one of the closest I've seen in recent years, as far as your 1, 2, and 3 being split by 2 seconds. Um, Primoz comes out, does a great, absolutely stellar ride that I don't think anybody really expected him to be that close. And and Jay Vine, like, these three guys looked so good, in this time trial. I mean, they were just hands above everybody else.
Yeah, yeah, and given Tarling's strength, it makes it even more impressive to see both Roglic and Vine do as well as they did. So,
And
yes,
Ineos
this is
steals
all.
another big win. Like, you know, this is a team that's just racing in a different way than they were last year. I mean, they just got a different feel about them.
Well, it's all setting this race up for some real excitement here. So, I think that
All right.
I think that we got a lot of interesting storylines developing here.
We absolutely do. We absolutely do. And we will have plenty of time to talk about it over the next couple weeks. So, on that note, we'll end it there and we'll be right back.
Don't miss the Team Bus, our weekly companion podcast to the main Beyond the Slipstream show. Our domestique, if you will, dropping every Wednesday in your usual podcast feed.
In honor of Mother's Day, we're dedicating our third segment today to building our top 5 movies about moms. Let me first give a big shout out to all the moms out there who might be listening, and especially to our dear mother Beth, who is at this point the absolute biggest fan of Beyond the Slipstream, even if her sporting fandom leans much more to the traditional realms of baseball and American football. But we know she listens to every episode of BTS and the Team Bus as well, and we love her for it. Love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
Matt, there are dozens and dozens of great films about moms to choose from. How did you go about making your list?
Well, I guess I decided to try to give some love to some more recent films that I've seen that I think could use more eyes on them. So yeah, rather than going with like old classics, I kind of leaned more in that direction. Although I do have one older classic and one kind of newer classic. So yeah, all right. So I'm going to start with number 5, and that's my old classic, and there's no possible way in the world I could have made this list without having this movie on it somehow. So I don't know that it's a great movie per se, but it is a camp masterpiece, and that is 1981's Mommy Dearest, starring Faye Dunaway, playing the iconic role of Joan Crawford. So Faye Dunaway, one movie star, is playing another movie star, Joan Crawford, who was completely unhinged, mentally ill, and abusive to her daughter Christina. Christina Crawford wrote this tell-all memoir about her crazy mom. I guess I shouldn't use that word. It's insensitive, but anyways, about her mom. And it was made into a movie, Mommy Dearest, and it's just like the most quotable thing ever. I had an old friend who sadly passed away years ago, but we loved quoting this movie back and forth. Christopher, damn it, I asked you to clean your room. Just incredible. Just you used wire hangers. Or one of my absolute favorite ones.
Wire hangers.
She had married some rich guy, Joan Crawford had, and found herself like the chairman of the board, the chairwoman of the board of PepsiCo, and she's like at a board, and of course she's doing all this just insane stuff, and the board members are flipping out, and at one point she's at a board meeting and she says, "Don't fuck with me, fellas." So number 5, Mommy Dearest.
All right. I definitely went with like a non-traditional approach in picking movies where I feel like the mom is really integral to the movie as a whole, and sometimes it just shows the reality of what being a mother is. So my number 5 is the Royal Tenenbaums, Angelica Houston playing Ethylene Tenenbaum, who when she gets divorced, she throws her entire life into like making these, genius and savant and children, like, trying to give them all the success in the world. And even though all of that dedication she puts into it, her kids still come out of it, pretty fucked up. And, I think that is the perfect way of, encapsulating motherhood, is that you can put every effort that you can into building a great life for your children and doing all the right things for your children, and still they can come out with flaws, and it's a very, it's a movie that's really about, the flaws of a family and how, you overcome those flaws together. And she's at the center of that whole thing, and she does such a damn good job in that role. um I love her as a mother.
Yeah, great film. Absolutely love that one. Really, it's a good look at parenthood in general too. Just the contrast between her and Royal. All right, so for my number four, I've got a movie I saw it last year. I actually watched this on a plane. I've been meaning to go back and watch it again, but it's called Janet Planet. It's actually a 2023 movie. It's directed by Annie Baker. This is a very simple kind of just like art house movie. It's a coming of age story about a mom and her daughter. It's not showy. It's short. It's concise. It's very down to earth. Um, and I think that we need to platform filmmakers that are working like this. There's absolutely just like nothing showy or ostentatious about this movie. It's a simple story about simple people, but it will really touch you. So put it on your list. It's called Janet Planet from 2023.
All right. My number four, I chose Raising Arizona. Holly Hunter as Ed, uh, short for Ed to Weena, turn to the right. But this is a movie
Ed
where, like,
McDonough.
I I just I love her in this role because it just shows the emotion of a woman that so badly wants to be a mother and will do anything to be a mother, in literally compromising her entire life, her entire identity to become a mom. And I think it's a beautiful story. And that scene in the end where they're all in the nursery at the Nathan Arizona house, and like that scene between her and Nathan Arizona just is so amazing. So if you've never seen Raising Arizona, you absolutely should watch that today.
Agreed, and we would be remiss if we didn't at least make a quick little note about another mom character that appears in that movie, Frances McDormand, who absolutely like runs
Oh
away
my
with that scene
God.
when they're at the house. She says she got her dip Ted. She's got to have her dip Ted. Oh my God, she's an angel straight from heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah,
God.
great choice. All right, at number three, another a movie from recent years. This is from 2023, directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal, the actor. It's called The Lost Daughter. This is a fantastic movie. It was a drama with Olivia Colman, who is just amazing
Good in
in
everything.
everything she does. Her turn in The Bear, in my favorite episode of The Bear,
As the other chef.
last year was,
Yeah.
oh God, she was so good in that. I just loved it. But it's one of those roles where she's not playing a flattering person. Her character makes a choice in the beginning of this movie that's really mean, like just really not cool, and consequences begin spilling out as a result of it. But you get wrapped up in this movie. Like it's quite intriguing, and it's kind of high drama. She's playing a very complex character, and I am really looking forward to seeing what else Maggie Gyllenhaal puts out there, because if this is any indication, she is really going to be she has the potential to eclipse her acting career with the directing, if this is where she's going. So that's The Lost Daughter, directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal.
All right. My number three, I went with Tim Burton's Edward Scissorhands. Diane Wiest playing the mom to Winona Ryder, but really, also playing the mom to Edward. That
I just
Ed,
watched this like 2 years ago. I'm glad you mentioned that.
and she's so damn good in it. You know, it's the quintessential, suburban mother, just with the biggest heart, and taking in the strangest kid. And it's one of the best parts about that movie. You can find so many things that are great about that movie: the visual, the how good Johnny Depp is in it, the art of it. But this performance by Diane Wiest is just so good and at the heart of it. And it's just, this woman with the biggest heart in the world, wanting to make the world a better place. I mean, it's just a great movie.
Yeah, Diane Weiss. There's something about her. Something about her. She's just got that. She's just got that
Mm.
thing. Johnny Depp may be making an appearance later on my list. But at number two, I have a 2018 film directed by Jason Reitman from a Diablo Cody screenplay, and an incredible lead performance by Charlize Theron. This is Tully from 2018. This movie is just been completely slept on. Nobody ever talks about this movie at all. I absolutely loved this movie. Charlize Theron plays a kind of an overworked, overscheduled, just mother at the end of her wits, with a husband that doesn't seem to be too helpful to her, and she she ends up hiring a night nurse. I don't want to get into that happened or whatever. I don't want to spoil anything, but she hires a night nurse to come in and help her out, and a lot of really interesting things happen as a result of it. But some really great performances in there. Um, it's just a movie, especially as a parent. This movie will just make you feel good about parenting in a way. It doesn't flinch from the difficulties of it, but it makes you feel good. It's a really a wonderful film. It's called Tully.
All right. In my number two slot and my number one slot, I picked two movies that are very important to me that show that mothers will go to any lengths for their children. And I went with Terminator 2, Judgment Day, the James Cameron classic.
Nice.
Sarah Connor just, literally will do anything in that movie. I mean, it all turns. She is just willing to do whatever it takes to like advance making sure her son lives. And, the lengths that she goes to throughout that movie are just, insane. Just like everything about that movie and how her character shifts from that first film to the second film is just insane and just a great performance.
Love it. I remember seeing that movie in the theater and just having my mind completely blown. It's incredible. All right. So sliding in at number one, I mentioned we see Johnny Depp appear again on my list. I am going with 2000's Chocolat.
This almost made my list.
I love this movie from the first time I watched it. This is it's got a lot of ingredients in this film that always work for me, which is kind of like beauty and art and romance and magic. So like I look at one of my absolute all-time favorite films, Amelie. Like this gets me in the Amelie headspace. It's like there's this sort of magical realism and it's like in this picturesque little town, and it's got those vibes. It's got those magical kind of vibes, and the characters seem almost like fairy tale characters in a way, but the performances are just so good. You got Juliette Binoche, with her mom, who's I did not look up the actor's name that plays her daughter. And they're sort of like traveling. They're itinerant. They sort of bounce from town to town. Sort of. I think in the movie they say like following the west wind or something like that. And they sort of sweep in, and she sets up this chocolate shop. She's just got this ability to make these incredible chocolates, and it's like there's magic in the chocolates because the townspeople start getting them, and strange things start happening in their lives as a result of eating these chocolates, and people seem to be getting addicted to them. So it's fun, but there is some stakes to it. And Johnny Depp comes in. He's playing. I'm sure this would not bode well in this day and age, but he's playing like basically a gypsy character, a Roma, and he's a white dude, so he's certainly not the the right ethnicity for that part. But he looks damn good, and he's kind of the bad boy in the movie with a heart of gold. It's just a sweet, warm movie. It will definitely reward you if you've not seen it before. 2000 Chocolat.
For my number one, I went with probably one of my top five movies of all time, Kill Bill. To me, the
Are you
ultimate one.
calling one? Are you calling one and two
Yeah,
all
I
one
mean,
movie?
I don't look at them as I. If I watch that, I watch them both. So,
I would just like to note for the record that is a cheat in your number one spot. All right, go ahead.
okay, I'll accept it as a cheat, but I literally don't look at them as two movies. Um,
No, I know.
it's the ultimate mother movie because the whole movie is hinged on the revenge of her coming after these people for trying to kill her and her baby. All right. And her assumption that when she does wake up that her baby is dead. And the whole, you know, run of this movie is revenge for this thing. It's a mother's revenge. Only to, and then spoiler alert, find out in the end that her child is alive. And the scenes that happen when from the point that she, finds this out and meets her daughter for the first time, all the way to the end of the end of that second film, are some of the absolute best movie work that I've ever seen in my entire life. The scene, especially the scene in the hotel with Uma Thurman, like crying in the bathroom as her daughter is like watching a movie, and just the intense joy that she's in pain and everything that she's feeling in that moment. And it's like it takes this 4 hours of film to get to this one point that is just, it's so short in the scope of the whole, the whole thing, but it will leave you just with this mark of like, holy shit, I just went through this whole crazy kung fu western adventure. All right, but it really boils down to this moment of like ecstasy and pain and sorrow and joy. And like the way that Tarantino like draws it all to that point is just,
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting to consider it in the context of it being a motherhood movie because metaphorically speaking, her character has a birth of sorts when she is buried alive in one of the most harrowing scenes in all of moviedom. It just that just haunts me, scares me to this day. And she literally gets herself out of a coffin and through the dirt and emerges, and it's like she is being born to her new life of vengeance. A nice motherhood metaphor.
yeah,
All right, let's throw out our honorable mentions real quick and wrap this up.
yeah.
For me, I'm gonna do Lady Bird.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Fantastic film, and I mean a really really hard look at motherhood, the mother
Yeah.
portrayed by Laurie Metcalf. Amazing movie. A movie that we talked about earlier. Well, I guess it was probably might have been last year. Horror movie Long Legs, which sort of didn't do it for me on first viewing, and after I watched it the second time, I was like really like it went way up in my estimation. And very interesting mother-daughter relationship at the center of that film. And lastly, just some love for All About My Mother. It's a film by Pedro Almodovar, Spanish filmmaker, who has made many amazing movies. And All About My Mother is one of his earlier pictures. It's got a very early performance from Penelope Cruz, and gives a lot of attention to the AIDS community. Um, and it's just a great film, All About My Mother. So those are my honorable mentions. What do you got?
All right. So I'm going to go real quick on this. My wife was just obsessed when her and I were talking about it. She wanted me to mention Molly Weasley from the Harry Potter series. What a great mom. The ones that I picked, Morticia Adams, again, Angelica Houston again. What a great mother. Ellen
So great.
Ripley from Aliens, great mother. All right. This one almost made my list, honestly. Florence Rusty Tullis from Mask, Cher. Eric Stoltz and Cher. What a great relationship
Yeah,
these two have.
a
What
long
a
time since I've seen that one.
it's a movie that's so far ahead of its time for where we are now with like you should go back and watch it. Very
I will
unbelievable
for sure.
performance by Cher. Unbelievable. One of many unbelievable performances by Cher. She's a great actress.
Hey, let me mention real quick that
Sure.
elephantism condition that the son has in that movie. Um, there's an English actor that has got that same thing. I cannot remember his name right now, but he was in this movie called Under the Skin. It was a Scarlett Johansson movie. Um, and then he appeared in another movie that was kind of about a guy that had that. even though he wasn't playing that guy, he wasn't playing the main character. Sebastian Stan, who's like a actor on the come up, is playing. It's called, I
That's
think
like a
it's
new
called
one.
I think it's called A Different Man. I watched it.
Yeah,
That movie is
it's on my
incredible,
list. It's on my list.
incredible.
Yeah.
Watch that film. And that
Um,
Sebastian Stan guy, he also did a Donald Trump movie last year as well called The
he's great.
Apprentice. You should watch. You should watch that as well.
I just saw him. I just saw the new Thunderbolts movie, the new Marvel movie with my wife last
Yeah,
week.
I heard he was in
He's in
that.
that. The other one, the other one I picked was Marge Gunderson from Fargo. Like another Frances McDormand, considering that you mentioned her earlier, but if you know, you know. All right, you
Yeah.
betcha. All right,
Prowler needs a jump.
all right, and then really fast, I did make a list of some bad mothers. All right, real quick. All right, Ruth DeWitt Bukater, who was Frances Fisher from Titanic, Rose's mother from Titanic.
Oh God, what a social climber. She's like the
Oh, what a
worst.
disgusting woman.
I just watched that.
Mary Jones, who was played by Monique in Precious. Oh, what a horrible
Yeah.
mother.
Horrible.
Pam Voorhees from Friday the 13th. Kate McAllister, the absolutely perfect Catherine O'Hara from Home Alone 1 and 2. How do you leave your kid like that? You're a terrible mom. All right, terrible mother. All right,
Buddy.
and then my worst mother, in my opinion, from any movie ever, Mama Fratelli, Anne Ramsey from The Goonies. She is just awful in every possible way. So,
Goonies.
The
Thank
Goonies
you.
is a great movie.
I'm so glad
So-
the Goonies has finally made an appearance on this podcast.
All right. On that note, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. We will be right back. All right, we're back for another ride in the Broom Wagon. Matt, what do you got?
All right. I am talking ghosts this week on my Broom Wagon. First, ghosts from the past. I yesterday took our dear mother to a birthday party. It was a joint 80th birthday party for some old friends of hers who we also know, a family that we were friends with and involved with over the years, through our parents' participation in Marriage Encounter and church in general. I went to the same church, and the mom and dad were both turning 80. They had a birthday party up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, of all places, which nobody from their family is from there. It's just like a central location. They were like, we knew that Lancaster's got a cute little downtown, and we found a great venue, so we're going to do it there. So that's why I was there. But it was really cool seeing a bunch of people that I probably haven't seen. Well, I think the mom and dad, Greg and Jean, came to my wedding. I think I've been meaning to look that up, but I haven't seen any of those kids for at least 30 years, or more.
Those are my those are my godparents. Do you know that?
Yeah. And it was just kind of fascinating to with each of the kids, like the moment I saw them, instantaneous, like yep, like they look exactly the same, even though they're 35 years older than the last time I looked on each of those faces. They're still just yep, there they are, and they're really, really wonderful people. That turned out to be a great family. And I found as I was catching up with folks, I was telling them about what I do is for work. I'm working as a bartender. I'm there in Rockville, and I was relating to them how one of the things that's been really nice about working there is that it's a busy enough restaurant. It's so centrally located enough that on a very regular basis, I get to see ghosts from my past who come through that restaurant, and I've reconnected with people from high school. I even reconnected with one person from going all the way back to 5th grade who came in there one day, Christine Pepino. So it's really kind of cool, like getting to see people from way back. And so I just want to encourage folks to make the time, put yourself in the situation where, if you have the chance, you can reconnect with people going way back, because it's so fun. It's really gives you just like a great feeling. Yesterday when I was talking to those guys, it just felt so good. It felt like a circle being closed again or something. And it's just really neat. And so the second part of my ghosting broom wagon is I want to ask people, whenever possible, don't ghost people, because I've been ghosted, very hard ghosted, in two very specific instances. I'm not going to name names, but one of them was a person that I was doing a lot of bike riding with, and we had a really kind of great thing going. And that person's schedule changed a little bit, so we weren't going to be able to ride on the same day or whatever. But still, could have made time, and I don't know why, but he just disappeared. Just
It's
just
weird.
stopped responding to texts, and just it felt like shit that happened. And if he doesn't want to ride with me for some reason, that's fine, man. I'm fine, but can you send me a text and just say, hey, man, I got to move on here. Give me some kind of closure. So don't leave people like that. The other one was a family therapist that we've been working with for a couple of years. A therapist, for God's sake, who absolutely just will not respond any longer. And I know that person is still out there doing stuff, because we did a little sleuthing or whatever, and we found recent posts. This person's been active on whatever, in the past 4 days or whatever. I mean, nothing's happened to her,
It's
and
interesting.
yet just will not respond at all. And it's like, why would you? You're a therapist, like you know what this, how this could hurt someone.
Definitely not healthy activity
No,
there. That's for sure.
it's unforgivable, and I can't think of anything we could have done to her to warrant that kind of response. So, please don't ghost people. Give them the closure that they deserve. If you're making a boundary and moving on, I get it. That's fine, but just let them know, like, I'm done talking to you. It might seem harsh. It's a tough thing to say to somebody, but it's a lot better than just leaving them hanging with all those
For
questions.
sure. For
And
sure.
I want to say that I understand that there are some situations where ghosting someone is absolutely warranted. If you're in an abusive situation or something like that, I'm not here to to say that this is a solution that's going to fit everybody. I know that there are situations out there where you do need to make a clean break from somebody, but if possible, don't ghost people. Give them the closure at least. So, what do you got?
So I mentioned this briefly last week when I was talking about Star Wars, but my wife and I have been watching Andor on Disney Plus, and like the 3 episodes this week just absolutely just blew me away to the point where I was like, I have to talk about this. Um, the acting in the show, like, okay, look, it's a Star Wars show, but the acting in the show is so good. It may be the best acting in any Star Wars show that I've ever seen, or movie, or whatever. I mean, there is a scene and the way they've been dropping it, which is like unbelievable, is because it's like a prequel series, so it's leading up to the original movie. Okay, so it's leading up to Rogue One, which Rogue One then leads up to the original movie. They are doing it in 3 episode chunks. So each week they're releasing 3 episodes, and those 3 episodes are taking place in an amount of time. Like, they are it's like every week they're jumping ahead a year. Okay, and it's like 3 years before the Battle of Yavin, 2 years before the Battle of Yavin, 1 year before the Battle of Yavin. And so you get this like time jump in between these 3 episodes. But there's a scene in this group of 3 episodes that I watched this week between and these guys, but it's like you have Diego Luna, you got Stellan Skarsgård, you've got other people in it. They're really, really great. But these two characters, Denise Gough and Kyle Solar, who play Dedra and Cyril, and they're like characters that end up in a relationship. There's a scene between these two characters that I was shocked to see in like a Star Wars show or a Disney Plus show. Like, absolutely very visceral, very just well acted. These guys are like not well known. They're like British TV and movie like character actors. They do a lot of video games, both of them. But the scene between these two, this one particular scene is so good that like I have to talk about, like, you need to watch the show. Like, please watch Andor. Like, if you are a Star Wars fan at all, watch it. If you could care less about Star Wars, you could watch this show and just watch this show and enjoy it, because it is just, it's so good. And it's like the building of a revolution, and it is so well done and so well acted that I cannot say enough about it.
Yeah, all of my critics have just like, universally adored this show. And I got a guy that I work with, shout out Aiden, who I talk a lot of movies and TV with, and he's all over this show. And it's so funny that what you said, like these last 3 episodes, because literally like 2 days ago he said the same thing. He's like, these last 3 episodes, bro, like I think one of them might have been the best episode of television that I've ever watched in anything ever, period. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen on television. Like, absolutely beyond.
Look, I cannot tell you how good the show is. I mean, it's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, it's on my list. I'm gonna get the wife to watch it immediately.
In the two seasons. All right, so you have Anton Lesser. Okay, like I don't know if you know him, but he was like the bad priest from, not the bad priest, but the bad like cleric in the Game of Thrones. I don't know if you watched Game of Thrones.
I didn't watch.
Right. Ben Mendelsohn is reprising his role as Director Krennic. Forrest Whitaker's in this. Alan Tudyk is in it. Andy Serkis and Eben Moss-Bachrach are in the first season. Like, it's got a great cast. It's got a ridiculous cast. So, yeah, from The Bear. And so this one, just, you got to watch it. Like, I honestly, at some point,
I know you said the acting was good. Like, does it also have like just like good Star Warsy stuff?
Oh yeah, I mean it's a great story, but it's like what's beautiful about it is it's a Star Wars story that doesn't depend on Sith or Jedi or lightsabers or any of the normal things that you would come to expect from a Star Wars show. It doesn't even have a lot of like space, like, flying. It's not like it's very much a
cool
character
robot
show. It's a story show.
Does it have cool robots at least?
Yes. Oh yeah. There's a scene with robots.
Creatures.
That's like
cool creatures. Yeah. All right, good.
So
let's leave it there.
100%. Please go watch Andor. All right. That's all for this week. Join us next week for an analysis of the first full week of racing at the Giro d'Italia, as well as reviews of the Tour of Hungary, the 4 days of Dunkirk, and the women's Itzulia Basque Country. Until then, for my brother Matt, I'm Justin Harper. Thanks for listening. We hope you'll join us for another ride beyond the slipstream. Ale.
Beyond the Slipstream is a production of Harperama. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Please like and subscribe, smash that button, leave a 5-star review, and most importantly, tell all your friends about us. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time. Ale!